Greetings, Wambui Bahati here. Welcome to Wambui Made It. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to take your flat scarf off the round loom. Cast it off or bind it off, as some folks might say. Okay, so I've broken the steps down into 9 tiny little steps that just repeat and repeat. Now I know, that sounds like a lot. 9 steps. But you'll see, I'm going to change my camera angle and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, and you're going to find it's a breeze. Okay, so here's what it's going to look like. We're going to make believe that this is our scarf and we've gotten it as long as we want it to be. And the thing that we want to do is have the yarn string, the string that's attached to the yarn, we want it on the first peg that we started with. So the last row is probably going to be a wrap row. So we're just going to wrap here, and we'll say this is our last row before our beautiful scarf is finished. And on that last row, we're going to do the regular loom knit stitch up and over, all across, and up and over, up and over, and up and over, over, bottom over the top. Okay, and now we're back and we have finished our scarf, and now we want to take it off the loom, but we don't want it to unravel. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here at our first peg. And the first step is to skip the first peg and go to the second peg. So we see that first peg right there, we're not going to do anything to it. We're actually going to skip it and go to the second peg, and we're going to wrap. We're going to wrap like that, and then we're going to go take the bottom, pull it over the top. We're going to take the top and we're going to take it off, and we're going to move it to the first one, and we're going to tighten that yarn right there. Now we're going to take the bottom, pull it over the top, and we're going to move this one back over here like that. Now we're going to start the same process over again. Now we have one. This is becomes our first peg now. We're going to do nothing to the first peg. We're going to wrap the second peg. Going to wrap it. We're going to take the bottom, pull it over. Take the top and take it off and put it back over here on the first one. Tighten that yarn. Now we're going to take the bottom, move it on over. We're going to take the top and take it off. And guess what? It's deciding it wants to go back where it was. So now it's back. Okay, so now this is number 1. And this is number 2. We're not going to do anything to number 1. We're going to put a wrap around number 2. We're going to take the bottom one and lift it up and over. We're going to take the top and take it off. And we're going to move it back. And we're going to put it on this first one. We're going to tighten the thread. We're going to take the bottom and lift it over. We're going to take the top and take it off. And we're going to decide, let's go back where we were. Now, that's number 1. Okay? And now this was number 2. What do? We wrap number 2. We go to the bottom and take the bottom up and over. We take the top and take it off, and we take it backwards and we put it on top of this one. And then we're going to tighten that. We're going to take the bottom, lift it up and over. Take the top and we're going to take it off, and it's going to say, you know what? I want to go back where I was, and we're going to put it back on that one. Now this one is number 1. We're going to take this yarn, do nothing with 1, go to number 2 and wrap number 2. We're going to take the bottom one and lift it up and over. We're going to take the top and lift it off and say, and let's go back. And we're going to go back to number 1. We're going to tighten that yarn. we're going to go to the bottom loop and pull it up over the top loop. We're going to take the top loop and take it off. We're going to hang on to it because we're so fickle. We're going to go, I want to go back to where I was. And we're going to go back over here and tighten the yarn. And now we have a new number 1. And then we have a number 2. Do nothing to number 1. Take the yarn and wrap number 2. Going to take the bottom, lift it up and over. Going to take the top and lift it off. The top is going to say, I want to go back over here. Tighten that yarn. And then take the bottom, lift it up and over. Take the top and lift it off. And it's going to say, well, you know what? I want to go back where I was. And it's going to go back over here. Tighten the yarn. Okay, new number 1. And we have a number 2. Wrap. We're going to wrap. We're going to take the bottom, lift it up and over. Take the top, lift it off. We're going to take it backwards. Say we want to be over here. We're going to tighten the yarn. We're going to go to the bottom yarn. Get the bottom yarn and lift it up and over. Then we're going to take the top and lift it off. And we're going to say, you know what? Let me go back where I was. And that's where it was. Okay. Number 1. Go to number 2. Go to the bottom. And number 2, when you wrap it, you're going to have to kind of hold it there with your fingers a little bit. Just hold it so you can get this bottom and lift it up and over. You know what you're going to do. You're going to take that top and take it off. And then you're going to go backwards with it. You're going to put it back on number 1 and tighten that yarn. Okay. Now we're going to go down and we're going to lift it up and over. We're going to take this one and lift it off. And it's going to say, let me go back where I was. You know how we sometimes realize the grass was greener. And we're going to tighten that. And now we have a new number 1. And this is number 2. We're going to take this yarn and we're going to wrap it. We're going to take that bottom and lift it up and over while we're holding this yarn in place. Going to take this bottom, you lift it up and over. Over, over, over. And then we're going to take this one and take it off. And we're going to say, put you back over here. I want to go back over here. We're going to tighten that yarn. Just pull on that yarn and tighten it. And then we're going to go to the bottom. We're going to lift it up and over. We're going to take the top and take it off. And it's going to say, let me go back where I was. And there you go. Now we only have 2 left. Okay, very loosely. Try not to tighten these too much on the end. But we're going to go to number 2 in a very kind of loose way. We're going to hold that number 2 in place with our fingers. And we're going to take the bottom and lift it up and over. We're going to take the top and lift it off. When we get it off, we're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go back. I'm going back over there. We're going to tighten the yarn. And then we're going to take the bottom loop and lift it over the top loop. And then we're going to take the top loop and take it off. And we're going to say, oh, I want to go back where I was. And now it's back where it was. And there. And now we only have 1 left. So we're going to kind of pull that one out and take it off. And guess what? If we cut the string right now, just going to cut it. Got the loop out like that. We're just going to cut it. And then we're going to pull this through. And there. Now we have our scarf is off the loom. And we have something that looks like a little chain stitch or braid there. And of course you can take a needle if you'd like. And so then what we're going to do is just kind of weave it in and out of there. Weave it in and out of there. And okay. Alright. And so there we have our scarf. And the only thing left to do, of course, to trim the threads. But then you can add some fringe on the ends of your scarf or anything you'd like to do. And so that's how you take the flat scarf. And look, it didn't curl. It's not a curly scarf. You take the flat scarf off the loom. Okay? Whew. So there you have it. Now you know how to get your scarf off the loom, and you don't have to figure out ways of how to wear your scarf with your loom because you couldn't get it off. All right, I'm just kidding. That I'm looking at this and I don't think it's a bad, that could be a thing, Anyway, you don't have to worry about that because you know how to get your scarf off the loom now. Okay, let me know if you want me to slow down any parts or if you have any questions about anything in the video. Peace.